I still hear that second silence, the one that hangs in the air when everyone realizes the party has shifted and someone is suddenly playing a part they did not earn. Tyler was sitting in my seat like it was his throne, phone ready, grin perfectly rehearsed. The live stream camera was angled to catch his face and the banner behind him. He started his little speech. "I want to thank our hosts," he said, and people clapped because that is what polite people do. He reached into his folder like a man who owns pages that belong to other people. Then the projector lit up. Not with his slideshow, not with the flattering images he dreamed up. It flashed an email thread, time-stamped and perfectly believable, where he took credit for planning the whole night, where he bragged about repackaging Scarlett's work to fit my brand. The thread was something I had never actually written. It was something I had made so he would find it. He stopped mid-sentence. The words on the screen reflected on his forehead like a neon sign. He blinked twice. The chat on the live stream flooded with question marks. Someone laughed too sharp. Tyler's smile started to wobble. He tried the joke move, the laugh it off thing people use when they get caught. But his charm slipped like a cheap tablecloth. I let him sit there while the screen and the people did the work. I let the moment breathe and widen like a bruise. I let the story sink in. And then I walked out of the room with my hands folded and a smile that felt like a small, private victory. But I am getting ahead of myself. You need to know how we got here.
But before we get into my story, please smash the like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss real-life revenge stories as they drop here every day. Your support means a lot to us. I'm Scarlett. I run the supper club that people treat like a tiny cultural event. It looks cozy from the outside, candles, linen, friends who laugh over too much garlic butter. But hosting is power. You decide who sits where, you curate conversation, you create a night that other people borrow when they want to look connected. Tyler had been helpful at first. He's the sort of guy who knows photographers and can make a press intro sound like destiny. He started as a friend, friendly, useful. He offered to handle press, took some setup photos, and smiled in a way that made seconds of help look like favor. For a while, it was fine. Then he began telling people the event was his idea. It was little things at first. He posted a picture with a caption that started "I." He tagged vendors like they were part of his personal network. Each small thing stacked into a narrative that made him the mastermind of a night I had planned and paid for. When I asked him to stop, he laughed in that way people laugh when they see a problem they can profit from. He posted a behind-the-scenes reel where he guided the camera through my work as if it were his stage. That was the cut that turned a bruise into a wound. I could have gone public and yelled. I could have called him out in the group chat and made a scene. But I wanted something cleaner and smarter. I wanted a fix that would stick. So I made a plan that used his tools against him. Attention, ego, and the illusion of control.
You know a magician's trick, misdirect, and the lie becomes real. My plan was misdirection that also reflected the truth back at him. No smashed chairs, no physical humiliation. Instead, I built a little theater. Step 1 was email seeding. I drafted a plausible email thread between Tyler and a fake PR contact. The tone was conky, but believable. I included tiny details only someone who had seen my prep would mention, like Calvin Reed, the caterer. I'd insisted on because he does garlic bread that makes grown men cry. I sent those emails from an address I controlled, dated them a week before the event, and set them aside. Step 2 was setting up the press. I quietly messaged Reese, the journalist I trusted, and the neighborhood newsletter. I didn't say, expose him. I asked politely, did you see Tyler posting about this event like it was his? I framed it as curiosity. People notice curious stains on other people's shirts and then pass the note along. Step 3 was the projector. The venue had agreed to rotate sponsor slides, and I submitted a harmless sponsor slide weeks ahead. Tucked into that rotation was the email thread.
It would appear as a sponsor highlight while Tyler was warming up the audience. It felt theatrical in a clean way. The final little touch was timing. Tyler loves the applause before dinner. He'd grab the mic for his big line where he thanks everyone. I timed the slide so it would pop up the moment he leaned into the podium. Am I proud of manipulating attention like this? Maybe a little. It felt like designing a trap that used his own appetite for the spotlight. The room smelled like lemon and roasted garlic. Candlelight softened the edges of suits and faces. Tyler arrived in a navy blazer and an expression like he owned the night. He had Jenna on his arm and a smile that had been practiced in front of mirrors. He walked to the head seat, ran a thumb over the program I'd left folded on the chair, glanced at the place card with my name, and smiled in that way that pretends not to notice what he's doing. He started his speech about community, about giving back, about how events like ours are the lifeblood of neighborhoods. He polished the lines like a man who believes his own press releases. The projector flicked, and the email thread rolled up behind him. At first, there was confusion. Phones came out, people squinted at the screen. Reese, the journalist, didn't shout anything. She simply began typing. Her typing sounded like a small verdict. The emails were clean, precise, and uncomfortably his. Tyler tried to laugh it off. He tried to say, "Oh, that's just an old thread." He tried to joke. His eyes were already searching for rescue. People are funny like that. Most of the time, a rescue comes. That night, it didn't. I had also quietly told the vendors, just so they'd be ready if someone asked. Heads up, I wrote to Calvin Reed and a few others. You might see emails on the screen. Just be honest if asked. That translated into two tiny, perfect things. When a guest asked who committed to the menu, Calvin said, plain and true, Scarlett. The next morning, vendors posted gratitude with tags, and their posts read like footnotes. The narrative shifted without a single raised voice. But I was not done. After the event, Tyler came to me small and nervous, asking for a private conversation. He sounded contrite in the way men do when they think apology is a costume they can wear. He promised to correct the record, to be humble, to post about how it was a team effort. He went home and wrote what I asked. Except he didn't write it himself. He ghosted the apology. It was slick and PR smooth and smelled of a man buying an answer. So I did one more quiet thing. I published the email thread and his polished apology side by side on the neighborhood blog with a short post titled, "The Work Behind the Table." I added vendor notes as footnotes and left it up for readers to decide. No name calling, no screams, just the public record and a few witnessed comments. The aftermath was slow and precise. Tyler didn't collapse. He rearranged his tone and kept posting the same practiced authenticity. His followers commented with sympathy and skepticism in the same breath. The vendor posts kept tagging me and thanking me for hosting with heart. Reese reached out to say she'd like to write a monthly piece. Messages came in from neighbors who had never said more than hi before. The internet did what it does. It amplified, it repeated, it archived. The petty part that warmed me was watching Tyler try to buy trust back with old moves that no longer worked. He doubled down on behind-the-scenes reels and learning moments. It looked rehearsed, and people saw it. His follower count wobbled like someone watching a bank account they don't understand. His circle tightened until only the people who liked the idea of him remained. Did I win? Maybe. I gained reputation and the kind of quiet satisfaction that is harder to describe than a viral clip. I had not pointed fingers loudly. I had not leaked private messages in a way that made me look small. I had created conditions where the story corrected itself and the audience rearranged their attention. Was I wrong for letting him sit through the unraveling of his story? maybe. Perhaps I should have stood up at the door and said, "No, Tyler, you are not sitting there." Maybe the immediate confrontation would have felt better in the moment, but would that have changed the long game? Would that have shifted where people's minds rested after the lights went down? I don't think so. People ask me if I regret getting petty. The truth is this: there is a style to revenge. You can scream, you can burn, you can make a spectacle, or you can be quiet and smart and let the facts speak where noise cannot. I chose the second. I let the projector do the talking, the vendors add footnotes, the blog hold the record. So, was my revenge too much, or was I just making sure the truth found its way into the light? I'd love to know. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have called him out immediately, or would you have taken the quieter, devious route? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about what real justice looks like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this petty tale of karma. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until then, keep your seat at the table and never let anyone take it from you.